But the ultimate goal of technology has always been to offset the manual and really refocus people to our highest value tasks. And as I said at the beginning, we've been on this mission for years. We've been bringing in tons of point solutions and technology, and I call it random acts of technology, and just throwing tools at everybody to try and make them more efficient. But truthfully, in some cases, we've just made the work that you do more complex. We've made it so that you have more things that you have to think about and interact with in order to drive decisions. But when we look at this revolution and the opportunity that we have in front of us, AI and emerging technologies truly give us that opportunity to lock into really focusing people on their human tasks. But when we do that and we make that shift, what happens is the skill set that you need to be effective in your job completely changes. You're no longer interfacing with technology at the same rate that you were before, but rather focusing on, truthfully, again, those human components of your job. And in a world full of technology, people are going to have to lean into what makes us human and really sharpen their soft skills. And this is where the power of education really becomes important. And I want to talk through kind of 3 categories touching on those soft skills, looking to a specialized type of education that I call digital literacy, and then really focusing in on this idea of industry knowledge and how we can pull all of these ideas together and really manage that balance that I mentioned before that's needed to guide our industry forward. If we want to change the way that our industry is viewed, and we want to kind of rehab what insurance is and revolutionize service, then we're going to have to pull all of these together, and you're going to have to be honest with yourself about where you have gaps and do the work to build those skills. So first, I want to talk through just a couple of examples of soft skills that I think everybody should be focused on, and I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach, I think, than most people when they talk about soft skills. So when we're in this world full of technology, what's going to happen, even when we're relying on AI, is we're going to have more data and more information coming at us than we ever have before. And what's going to become really important is how we make the decisions that come from that data and that input. Because even when we're working with AI, there should always still be a human in that loop that is driving decision-making at this stage. And so we're going to have to get very, very good at understanding data, but also being able to validate how credible it is and its authenticity. And we're going to have to be able to ask the right questions about the information that's being presented in front of us. We're going to have to figure out how to truly critically think. And sometimes we don't think of this as a soft skill, but if I said street smarts or intuition or past experience, you would start to think that critical thinking is a little bit more of a soft skill. And as we have all of this data and information coming towards us, we're going to have to start thinking about it differently, and it's going to change the way that we make decisions. Because we're not going to have to rely on 15 years of experience and our gut intuition to drive decisions. We're going to have to interact with data and interpret it and tell stories with it and think about it differently in order to drive decisions moving forward. And then, of course, there's all of the very traditional soft skills like empathy and listening and communication. And I don't need to tell any of you guys about the importance of that as a part of the customer experience. But where I want you to focus is on the multitasking that you're already having to do, but will continue to have to do in order to improve a customer experience and truly tap in to the human parts of our jobs. And when I talk about this, I get a lot of flack from people who say, like, we're not good at multitasking. You shouldn't be advising people to build that skill. But that's the exact reason that we have to spend time practicing and focusing on this. Because at the end of the day, whether you think of it as multitasking or not, when you are interacting with any sort of technology, that's the logical side of your brain. And then when you're having a conversation with a human, that's the other side. And guess what? Being able to interface with all of that data and that information that's giving you feedback on how to personalize a customer experience, you're multitasking while you're having that conversation. And it is incredibly hard for our brains to do that. And hopefully over time, technology will get better and better at putting the right information in front of you at the right time so that we're able to lessen this. But realistically, we're never going to get away from having to have this duality in terms of how we're working with people moving forward. So this is something that you should be focused on and thinking about and intentionally trying to improve upon.